everybody. Welcome back. This is the Price to Sell podcast in Bahamas tonight. And it's a special one because we're full circle today. It's a full circle moment. I'm in a beautiful villa number 1, currently for sale. And we're sitting here with Holly Carroll from the agency, who manifested this on Price to Sell.
Yes.
And now we're here in the flesh.
So basically, you helped me manifest this.
And I'm here, and I understand the powers because I'm physically here with you.
And how much is it listed for?
$29.9 million.
Say that again.
$29.9 million.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So we did a house tour today as part of the field trips. We did it for this one. Went very well. And now we're doing the podcast just to recall the first podcast we had where she literally put it out into the universe to manifest this thing. And now we're actually here in it with her, here in it. And I'm here as well. I think I'm here. Am I here?
I think you're here.
I'm here.
It takes a couple of days to alchemize into the Bahamas kind of, heat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're definitely here. And it's funny because I said to you that if this listing comes to fruition, you have to come.
Yes.
So I think even you could not come.
I just woke up, I was here. I'm not sure how. Not sure what she did, what kind of people she sent to get me, but I ended up in the Bahamas. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
This couch is great too.
He's not going to get off the couch.
No, I'm not going to get off this couch. So I might replace this one with my actual Price to Sell one. Reverse that.
Maybe we can negotiate. You can take the couch.
I might take this one couch.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'd love to get into the point from where we last left off, was that podcast. And then to now you actually physically grabbing this and, agency has it and you guys are currently marketing it. Yeah. And it's your dream come true, essentially.
So it's pretty exciting. We did it.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
So tell us how. Everyone wants to know.
So it's listed by the Agency Bahamas, which is incredible because the Agency Bahamas just opened.
Congrats to them.
Congrats to them. Congrats to the whole agency worldwide.
Yeah, you guys are making moves.
Right?
Yeah.
Mauricio definitely really helped seal the deal. It was a referral. So as we know from the last podcast, I did a retreat here. And the retreat was all about raising your vibration and the laws of attraction to bring in what you really want.
Yeah. And,
when I said some of the things, I didn't fully believe it. I'm an international luxury real estate agent. I didn't really believe it, but it felt good saying it.
Yeah.
And so since May, I really worked on believing that and into my core. Mm-hmm. And, I read something the other day and it was imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And I had no idea how we were going to get here. I had no idea, but I liked it. And I would visualize us doing this podcast right here on these white couches with the red dress. Literally with the red dress.
I can tell that was part of the vision because you came full force with this dress tonight.
Totally.
And the flower.
And the red lips.
I love it.
You know it.
Yeah.
And I did have a red dress on at the last podcast too, so
synchronicity.
It works, yeah. I did encounter so we talked about the law of attraction, obviously, at our last podcast. And I did encounter the law of rhythm and the law of contrast. And, if I hadn't maintained that belief and maintained that vision and that dream, visualize myself in this red dress on these white couches with you and Price to Sell, I would have stepped away. There was a lot of things that made me think this isn't going to happen. And there was a lot of times where I'm like, it probably isn't going to happen. And then I sort of moved on to something else, but still would visualize, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And why not? The visualization feels good.
It does.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I just kept visualizing. I kept believing. I kept trying to move forward. Whenever something really bad happened, I remembered what my strengths were. And then I tried to move forward with those. So what
would be an example?
So my strengths are with communicating with people and just keeping that ball alive, with the people that we're selling.
Is this the law of the rhythm?
Well, the law of rhythm is basically things are going to go up and down. So you're going to have good times, you're going to have bad times. It's just the law of rhythm. It's going to happen. It's like the tide. Yeah. It's going to come in, it's going to go out. And a lot of people, when they're down in the rhythm, they stop or they change direction. Or they change decisions. And this decision has never changed. We have wanted this listing for the Agency Bahamas since the get-go.
Yeah.
You know, and if I had stopped in the law of rhythm or get washed up with the tide, we wouldn't be here.
For sure. And the other one, law of contrast.
So law of contrast is basically the same thing. You're gonna get contrast. And the good thing is you're basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
The thing about the law of contrast is it's a good thing. So when you feel the contrast, again, don't panic, lean into it. It's a good thing. And if you're not having any contrast and it's too easy, chances are you're not doing the right thing.
For sure.
You know, if your dreams don't bring you to your knees in tears, they're not big enough.
Yeah.
You know, and here's what I said to myself too. I said, like, even if we didn't get this listing, I'm going to learn and grow from it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I had to step out of my comfort zone a lot for this listing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not even really my listing. It's the Agency Bahamas listing, right? So I had to really go through the laws of rhythm, but I went through them with power and grace and faith, full on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, I want to break down, like, because there's two ways. There's, like, you have the work you put in, like the metaphysical work.
Yep.
You know, it's like with your mindset and you're visualizing and all that. And then obviously there's work on, like, actual physical work in terms of doing the tasks in order to get this. So, like, the combination of the two is, like, you're unstoppable.
Exactly.
So how did you, let's talk about the metaphysical stuff too, because we're already on that topic. Like, what were some of the things you were doing to, like, visualize? How were you doing it? And then what did you find that worked? And then what are some, like, results that you start to witness occurring as a result of that?
Yeah, so we'll start with visualizations. I mean, when I would visualize, I would actually feel it. I would literally feel it, like feel us laughing and going through the field trip, and then take inspired action. But the thing is about inspired action is if you're not inspired or in spirit when you're making those actions, then they're probably not going to turn out right. So there was times where I was like, oh, this might not work out. Okay, time to take a day, time to realign. I maybe need to get a little bit more belief inside, and then I'll take inspired action. Yeah. You know, and there's a lot of people that I had to talk to, and they don't know me from a hole in the ground, right? So if I'm just talking to them when I'm not in spirit or I'm not inspired, they're not going to really take me seriously. Yeah. So I had to really dig down deep into my future multimillionaire self and then make the phone call or then make the drive. Mm-hmm. So I actually had to go meet the seller in Mont Tremblant. Okay. And it was a last minute thing. So I'm at home in Muskoka, and the assistant was like, can you come to Mont Tremblant? And I'm like, when? She's like, tomorrow. He never comes to Mont Tremblant. Please come to Mont Tremblant. And I'm like, okay. So of course I get in my car, I drive all the way to Mont Tremblant. I think it was like 8 hours. And I get there and I'm so sick. I think I got like a 24-hour flu bug. I was up all night. I actually slept in the bathroom. Literally. Really? Meeting was at 8. I'm like still very, very sick at 7:30. So I'm just like, okay, what's this? The law of rhythm, the law of contrast. Yeah. But it's like, what do I really want? Like, dig down deep, breathe, remember who the F you are, and just do it. Now, the good thing about it was when I met him, because I was so sick, I didn't say too much. Because you know how you can sometimes talk yourself out of the deal? Yeah, it's right? Possible. And because I'm still trying to be that person, I might not have all the right words either, right? So I basically didn't say too much. I let him talk, which is what he wanted to do anyway, because he's got a bunch of other projects. So I basically let him talk. And then I was like, okay, this is going pretty well. And he was getting excited because I was letting him talk. And people love to talk and have someone listen to them. So again, I could have stopped there and canceled the meeting, because I probably should have in that state of mind. And I just dug down deep. I went to the meeting. And it went really well. I gave him my book at the end. Love it. It's like seals the deal. I slipped it under the rug.
Love it. Yeah. That's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, it's a combination of the two.
Combination of the two.
You had to put in, you know, both parts to just really make it come to fruition. Yeah. And then how was that feeling? Like, did you know you got it after meeting him?
No.
Okay.
There was still a lot after that.
All right. Did you know for a fact you wanted to sell?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Were you competing?
No, it was actually listed before.
Oh, okay.
So the one next door was actually listed before.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they could have went with any other agent. They could have stayed with another agent.
Yeah.
He also had never heard of the agency. So I also had to pump up the agency as well as myself.
Yeah.
And I'm young, so like a $30 million listing for someone young, as well as young to the business.
Yeah.
I really had to do a lot of flashy stuff.
For sure.
So 1 week was a really good week, and I'm like, okay, we got this. I gave him the book. He's like, I'm really impressed with your book. I'm impressed that you came all the way here. He knew I was sick. And then the week after would be like, yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot more to impress me. And
Wow.
It was like, it was just like all over the place. So I thought I had it. I thought I didn't have it. I thought I had it. And then I brought the big guns in and was like, if I could just get Maurizio on a Zoom call and Danny, the managing partner of the agency Bahamas, I think I can do this. And it's funny because the Zoom call was really long and it didn't seem like it was going very well.
Interesting.
And at the very end, he goes, okay, well, before I sign the contract,
Wow.
I'm going to tell you guys a little story.
Okay.
And he tells us this story about how he wanted to buy a billboard. And the billboard was like something like 20 grand a month. And he's like, that's ridiculous. And they wouldn't negotiate with him. And he really wanted this billboard. And there was a strip club that was abandoned right beside it. And the strip club was almost cheaper to buy and just put the billboard on the side. So he tells us this really long-winded story. Okay, I'll keep it short. But and then he ended up turning the strip club into a big warehouse for some of his stuff. And the moral of the story is that he wants agents that think outside the box, and that's the agency.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love how Mauricio, who's the owner from LA, hopped on to support you.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, this is a huge listing, but not necessarily to him. And I'm not in the Beverly. I'm not on his team. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and he was right there coaching us all on. He's like, "You're gonna kick ass. You're a badass." And I'm like, "Yes, thank you." And he would always answer the phone when I picked it up. He's got tons of agents.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know, and he was right there for us, and he was great, really great. The whole Zoom.
That's awesome. Why do you think it wasn't going well?
Just the tonality of everybody. And sort of at the beginning, it was like people were kind of talking over each other and they weren't really in sync. And he was kind of like, oh, what's the agency? And I was like, oh gosh. Yeah. It didn't start off very well.
It's okay. You need those hard sellers here and there.
Well, yeah. And again,
now he's probably the biggest fan.
And it makes you so much stronger
For
and
sure.
tougher. And again, even if I didn't get the listing, I almost puked before that Zoom call.
Yes.
Because come on, this is a big deal. Not just to mention how I would look to Maurizio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you called me, because that was an exciting call, and I can feel it on the phone, to tell me the good news, was that not too long after?
It was pretty much right after.
Yeah, I love it.
Because one of the reasons why we got this listing was because I was like, we're going to do all this stuff. So he didn't want a regular listing agent that did those typical, basic runarounds and on MLS or even on, the Washington Post or Forbes magazine. Mm-hmm. He didn't want that regular stuff. That stuff had already been done before. Yeah. So when I said I'm going to film a podcast there. And, the best Canadian podcast out there.
Oh, thank you.
Price to sell. Ding, ding. And then this field trip thing. And I told him all about it. And he was like, I love that. Yeah. And he loved the fact that we were going to do all these cool things about social media. I had also posted a video of me in Exuma with pegs in a bikini. And he's like that stuff does get attention.
Yes.
It really does. Outside of the box thinking.
Yes, love it.
So you basically helped me get this listing.
You know what? And when you told me how, I guess it's a fairly larger piece to the marketing, I was even honored.
Yeah.
That. Sure. We're here right now. I got the opportunity to come here, which is crazy for me. Yeah. Because I'm a very similar thinker to you too, right? So it's these are some of the things that happen for me that allow me to think okay, this is my part of my rhythm up.
Yeah, exactly.
To have the downs too. So it's it's super cool. I mean, I'm only here for a night, 1.5 days. Yeah. But it's been awesome.
It's been awesome.
I'm gonna pump the hell out of it.
Yes.
To help you market it. And
help me sell it.
I'm excited when
Help
you do
us
sell it.
Yeah.
When you do sell it.
I think it's so cool when I think about how I was on your podcast and even how I met Danny Lowe, the managing partner of the agency. I met him in New York. Like all of these things had to fall in place, literally how they did time-wise.
Yes.
For this all to come to fruition. So when I think about that, what else is going to come?
Yeah,
like
it's true.
What else is going to come? Like next thing you know, we'll be somewhere else filming Field Trip.
Yep.
You know, at $130 million. Okay, that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to say things on the podcast so they come true.
These mics have secret powers. Like
so $130 million in LA is our next field trip.
All right, done.
Okay, done.
I'm excited. 130. That's it. 130.
No big deal.
Okay, 130 then 300.
Exactly.
But let's touch on Bahamas a bit.
Yeah.
First off, let's start with this property.
Yep.
It's I mean, I've seen it.
It's
blown
stunning.
away. People whoever's watching can see a bit of it.
They can see the couches.
They can see the couches. It's not going to do that. Like, it's not going to do justice at all. But if you want to speak to the listing for a little bit.
Of course. It's 11,000 square feet of just pure luxury.
Yeah.
Custom to the 9 bedrooms, 8.5 baths. So basically every bathroom has its own ensuite.
Yeah.
And like nice ensuites. We saw these.
And crazy walk-in closets.
And crazy walk-in
Each one.
closets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful because it actually does the sunrise, which I'm a huge fan of the sunrise for when you live there because I love waking up to the colors.
Yep.
What else can I say about this listing? We have a beautiful saltwater pool that looks over your own private 118 feet of pink sand beach water frontage.
Yeah, that's my favorite
private.
part.
It's incredible. A hot tub also that's saltwater, and you'll see it on Field Trip.
Yeah, and it's just it's like a resort.
It's a resort style living
for
exactly.
yourself.
Yeah,
like super private. Being able to go in the ocean earlier and not having a single person in there with me, that's crazy. Like I was just like,
yeah, especially for you too, because you love just like taking it all in.
Yes, I might hit it up tonight too. You won't see me out there, but I'll be out there. But yeah, like I mean, if you're someone who really enjoys the beautiful things of life, this is it.
Yeah, and it is claimed the #1 rental property in Harbour Island.
Yes, let's talk about that too.
Yeah, it's
hear the numbers. Let's drop some of these numbers.
Yes. So on a slow season, it's $8,000 a night just for the one, and 12. It can go up to $12,000 for the busy season.
Yeah, a night.
U.S. Yes, everything's in U.S. except for us.
Yep.
So they brought in $1.6 million in 2021.
Yep.
Usually people rent them both. Comes with your own private chef, a masseuse.
Yeah.
Also on Field Trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sam's laughing in the background.
A very comfortable face plant today.
And you're like breathing out. Like, I can't wait till everyone sees that.
I know.
By the way. It also has like a downstairs apartment living space just to kind of like, I like it because there's all these little quarters where people can just get away.
Yeah.
All of the dining room tables they fit 10 to 20. Outdoor showers, which I love. Beach hut. It's got everything. It really has everything.
And it pulls in 1.9?
1.6.
1.6 million a year.
It pulled in 1.6 million in 2021.
Yes.
So, I mean, we know it's only going up as more people know about it.
For sure.
Excuse me. So, I mean, I rent here.
I think the beauty of it here, and like what gives this property value, is the lack of competition.
Exactly.
You're not in a saturated market. We're in North Eleuthera.
We're in Harbour Island.
Harbour Island. I landed.
Still in Eleuthera.
I landed in your Eleuthera. I landed in Eleuthera.
We were just talking about how we get the words wrong, so
and
it's okay.
I called Eleuthera urethra. Straight up. It is what it is. It happens. I got a speech impediment sometimes. It's fine.
It's fine. Just
but
call
we're
it
in Harbour Island.
We're in Harbour Island.
And
so Harbour Island
yes.
is referred to the St. Bart's of the Bahamas.
Okay.
And if anybody knows anything about St. Bart's, that's it's the most expensive island, that vibe. It's where the stars go. It's got that. And we know, Lior and Mira and I know that the restaurants definitely have that St. Bart's value and price tag.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. And
it's not cheap.
Coming in here, like the flight in was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just seeing that water and I'm actually shocked that we're actually on the Atlantic side.
Yeah.
It could be my lack of education and knowledge, but I think Atlantic, I think dark, crashing waters,
For
harsh.
sure.
This is like crystal clear blue.
Yeah.
The pink sands are insane.
I know.
So it's just one of those things you just have to experience. But yeah, what a property. And I'm very excited that you guys are landing this and you're going to sell it. You're going to crush it. And I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
Right now.
We'll do up the paperwork after the pod.
It's all cash. Yeah, so.
This is fake cash.
Yeah, I got like a crazy ass briefcase. It's huge, actually.
White briefcase.
White.
Yeah.
With pink dots. So what's so what's your plans next? Like, what are the plans to get this going? Is it officially listed yet?
Yes.
Okay. And does Bahamas have its own MLS?
Yep.
Awesome.
Same type of paperwork, same
Yep.
type of transaction that we're used to. It's on the MLS. We have crazy content,
Yes.
and we're making more.
Exactly.
Sam and I are going to make more tomorrow. And we're just going to roll it out.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to roll out content like every other day.
Yes.
To get more people to just this ripple effect of marketing.
For sure.
And being with the agency, they love to help you sort of market it as well.
Which is cool.
Which is so cool. So some of the heavy hitters and influencers and top producers in the agency are going to roll it out. And I think it's just going to catch someone's eye,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I've learned that in this process that someone that's going to buy this is not really looking at the Bahamas. They're looking at island properties at
Yeah.
this price tag.
Okay.
Right? So it's just going to eventually catch someone's eye.
Yeah.
We're also obviously rolling it out to some of the people that might know the people.
For sure.
You know, there's some big people in the agency that may have buyers as well. I would love to find a buyer because on the way to find a buyer, I may get another listing.
It's very true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we're in the big leagues, right?
Yeah.
So
It's that snowball effect.
it's that snowball
Once
effect.
you're tapping into that market
Exactly.
and just, being around the right people,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's what you've done. That's how you're here.
Yeah.
And that was my question. We were kind of segueing into it now. Like,
Okay.
what is the target buyer for a property like this in a location like
Yeah,
this?
I mean, I would think it's probably like an actor, athlete. I don't think people are buying it as an
Podcast host?
investment. Podcast host.
Okay, cool.
I don't think people are buying it mostly for the income.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just helps sort of maintain what
For
is
sure.
already going on. Foreign buyer, sure. Canadian buyer. I mean, Canadians don't have to pay tax when they buy, which is
Interesting.
great, and they would get citizenship here. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say all that.
Oh, is that like a
Is that
governmental
legal?
thing?
What?
Like, it's just a part of it's government.
Yeah,
kinda,
it's kind of a thing. Everybody
program?
does it. Yeah.
It's a program that, yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
So, I mean,
It's
I
a
don't
good
know.
incentive.
To be honest with you, I don't know. Like, it's a very small window of buyers that would be here. So, I see it being an actor. I think it's somebody that's going to be on this side, not really on the LA side.
Yeah.
Probably somebody from New York or Miami, because that's right there,
Yes.
right? Or Canada.
Which actor is it? Or actress?
Well, who would play you in a movie?
Play me? Yeah. I don't know. I feel bad for them. Maybe Sam?
Sam, yeah.
Sam could play me, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But the reason I asked this is because who are we manifesting to buy it?
Oh, cool. Okay. Oh man, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt.
Brad.
Let's just stick with Brad.
Brad, come on.
The legend.
Let
Brad Pitt,
us
if you're
show
out
you.
there, we have a beautiful listing for you. It's called La Palmyra Villa 1. It's $29 million. You can totally afford it. And then we can start dating afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's a great setup.
Great
See,
setup.
that's how you sell it, my friends. Incentives.
Incentives.
Well, Holly, as we near the end here, because these fly by, even in the Bahamas.
I know.
They're a bit quicker in the Bahamas.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, you've had such a crazy experience story for you. I'm not gonna say it's like a storybook ending or fairy tale ending because it's not the ending. It's like your beginning. So, what would you say to people out there who maybe are fearful of goals this large or ambitions of this scale? Someone like yourself, you just like took it, roll with it, consistent. Here you are, and again, now that you've accomplished this, who knows what's next?
Yeah.
So, what would you say?
I think
to
if
that?
you want it bad enough and you believe it bad enough, you're going to get it.
Yes,
You're going to get it.
I love it.
Because there's no one going to tell you no because you believe it.
Yeah.
right? And then with the law of rhythm and the law of contrast, they're good things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, I'll say it correctly now.
Maybe.
You could be a delusional optimist.
Yes.
I said it.
Nailed it.
Yes. There we go. Nothing is ever impossible.
I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, thank you for having me. Shout out to Sam Visionlux, crushing it on the podcast for me today and the field trip and just the content in general. A lot of people are going to see this stuff. It's really cool. If you have $130 million in your net worth, you can spare 30 because 100 is still a lot. Come by the house right now. And yeah, to everyone out there, please like, subscribe, share. Thank you to the agency for having us. Thank you to Holly for having us, being such a good host. And we will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.